Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is Defub21, and today, as always, we have a new video game trailer. This is a long video game trailer. It's 16 minutes, 14 seconds. Yes, 16 minutes and 14 seconds long. It is for a game that is now instantly much anticipated as far as I'm concerned, because I really liked the previous one. I thought the previous one was one of the first games of this current console generation that did something genuinely new, and that game, of course, was Battle for Middle Earth, or Middle Earth. Sorry, no, it was not Battle for Middle Earth. It was Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor, and this is its sequel, Middle Earth: Shadow of War, which to my mind is not a particularly imaginative name for a sequel, but that's for me beside the point. Again, the previous game, particularly with its Nemesis AI system, was something genuinely new and innovative that sadly hasn't been mimicked or copied by anyone else to date, including by at least one or two other games released by the same publisher. I don't know what's in this. It's basically a gameplay walkthrough. I would assume showing off the new improved Nemesis system and other improvements to the gameplay, as it were, and game design over the previous game. Apart from that, I know nothing else because I've avoided looking at it until now. So without any further ado, let's take a look, and then I shall, as I always do, let you know what I think.
Shadow of War is an epic third-person open-world action RPG, and the sequel to the award-winning Shadow of Mordor. This walkthrough takes place many hours into the game, where we will show you one example of the epic personal stories created through the next generation of the revolutionary Nemesis system. To save Middle-earth, we will be journeying deep behind enemy lines and using the new Ring of Power to forge an army and conquer Mordor from within. On the world map, we see the many regions we can conquer. Every one of these regions is a distinct environment with unique enemies and allies, including overlords, war chiefs, captains, followers, fortresses, strongholds, missions, and more. Today, we're going to attack and conquer the mountain valley of Saragost and take it from Sauron's overlord, Ur-Hakon, the Dragon Lord. Let's launch the assault. It's not only our enemies and the world that make the Nemesis system unique. It's also our followers. Ragdug the Ironmount has armored cavalry that can charge through the flames of artillery fire. The Demolisher is a living battering ram with the power to smash enemy defenses. With our followers at our side, we must first face the Stormbringer.
The Bright Lord. I fought for you, bled for you, and you left me to die. But I was reborn with the power of the Dark Lord.
He has a history and personal grudge against us. He used to be part of our army before he betrayed us and joined the Dark Lord. He also carries a dark curse, which prevents us from using the power of the new ring.
Come, charge into the flames of your reckoning. Ignite!
The Overlord has deployed multiple fort defenses, including siege beasts and flame archers.
No more talk! We bring war!
Our first objective will be to break through the main gate.
You feel it, don't you? This is the power of the Dark Lord. Yes. Yes. Come to me. Suffer me now!
With the Stormbringer defeated, we've broken the curse and can unleash our power as the Demolisher breaches the gate, allowing our army to storm the fort. There are many ways to conquer a fort, from open combat to stealth and infiltration. We've infiltrated a spy within the enemy ranks. Deadeye has placed explosives, allowing us to sabotage the wall and outflank the defenders.
Did you really think you could kill me that easily?
The spy is also able to help clear the way by sniping enemies. In Shadow of Mordor, the Nemesis system created memorable stories of bloodshed and revenge. In Shadow of War, your followers can create entirely new stories of loyalty, betrayal, rivalry, and even friendship.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Deadeye.
Nice shot.
We've expanded the RPG systems in Shadow of War enormously. Defeating Stormbringer allows us to collect this epic armor of Rohan and equip it.
Ranger! I am usually the forgiving soul, but Stormbringer, he was mine, and you've stolen my tail! It's time to dance!
Mounting armored cavalry allows us to ride through these flames unharmed. Releasing and dominating the Drake lets us turn the Overlord's defenses against him. You've terrified the Flame of War. Now bend him to your will. The Ring of Power allows us to dominate the minds of our enemies,
I am yours,
compelling them to join our growing army. Now, with the power of the new ring and the help of our followers, we've defeated the War Chiefs. We can face our ultimate nemesis in this fort, the Dragon Lord himself.
It is time to take what is ours.
With the Nemesis system, every Overlord faced by every player will be unique to their world, and the throne room itself has been customized by the Overlord as his personal combat arena.
It's the Lord of Mordor himself, the Grave Walker. You've made a right mess, haven't you? My army slain, my Drake dead. So much pain. Well, I know a thing or two about pain. And yours, it's going to burn a hole into this world. Let me show you how it's done. This might hurt.
The Overlord defeated, Fort Saragost and this region of Mordor are ours. Conquering the region rewards us with experience, loot, new followers, and resources. It also creates a personal base from which we train our forces, increase our power, and upgrade our defenses against Sauron's counterattacks. Let's return to the army screen, where we can review our enemies and command our followers. We need to select one to become the new Overlord, so he can spread his influence throughout the region, creating an entirely original Nemesis fortress. This war chief is a necromancer. He will shroud the fort in sorcery to confuse and terrify attackers. This war chief is a beastmaster. He will allow us to turn the creatures of Mordor against our enemies. But we're going to promote Ragdug, the war chief who charged through that artillery assault and helped us bring down Ord-Hakon, the Dragon Lord. As a marauder, he can loot and pillage the region for us. With our new Overlord in place, we can upgrade the fortress, increasing its defenses and enlarging the size and power of our army.
Here, brothers!
The Nemesis system means that every element of this mission was dynamic and unique. No two players of the game will experience the same story.
We will spread his power!
This was just one step in our conquest of Mordor. One small example of the millions of unique stories players will create in Middle-earth: Shadow of War.
For the Bright Lord.
PlayStation.
Well, that was certainly a long trailer. It's basically a walkthrough. Well, it's first in-game gameplay, and it's all in-game gameplay, which is always a good thing. And it's basically kind of a walkthrough on what was the main strength of the previous game, Shadow of Mordor, or at least the Xbox One PS4/PC version of the game, which is, of course, the Nemesis system, which they've now expanded to include people that you can recruit or conscript, as it were, onto your own or into your own side to serve and obey you, which is pretty cool. You've got the whole attacking their base, overrunning their base mechanic, that kind of siege mechanic, which is pretty cool. Hopefully, again, according to the trailer, experience will be the same. In other words, I assume by the meaning of that, by the base designs might be different, or the defenses in the bases can vary from one. But well, each base will be different, but also the way the bases are defended will be different, and not just in terms of that's obviously the forts won't all be identical, obviously. But my hope is that it's a case of that they're each as it says in the trailer, that each playthrough of the game will be a unique experience for each individual player. So no one experience of playing the game will be the same. In which case there must be a degree of kind of, if not randomness, then unpredictability to both the fort design and the way they're defended, which would be, I think, really cool. And obviously, thanks to the Nemesis system, you'll have different characters, kind of different leaders defending each base. So that looks really cool. In terms of the visuals, from what I remember again, I haven't played it in a while, but from what I remember of the last game, doesn't look like a particularly significant visual upgrade. But that in of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you got to remember, unlike the Xbox One and the PlayStation, the 360 and the PlayStation 3, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 have graphics-based compute as well as CPU-based compute. So if they need more processing power for for the Nemesis system and for artificial intelligence. They can get it by being conservative on the graphics side, or at least that's one of the ways they could do it. The Xbox One and the PS4 are not a particularly aggressive upgrades over the previous gen systems on the CPU side, so they might need some graphics-based compute to do what they want to do with the Nemesis system. But again, it looks very much like they're building upon what was the main strength of the previous game on Xbox One and PS4 and PC at the very least, which is the Nemesis system. They appear to have expanded some of the RPG elements in terms of how you can customize and upgrade your character, which is really good. I assume, fingers crossed, that and whether it's a completely open world sandbox where you can literally run from one end of the map to the other, or whether they've segmented it the way they effectively did in the previous game. I don't know if that's the case here, but it kind of, the way you can move your pointer around the map and it highlights different, chunks or sectors of the map, as it were, that may well be the case. But that's not necessarily a problem. Again, particularly if it allows for kind of economizations and memory and all the rest that allow to maximize the Nemesis system, what it brings to the table. So yeah, doesn't, in terms of the gameplay, mechanics, in terms of the combat, looks pretty much the same. I'm sure they've made various innovations, improvements and refinements, but I couldn't really pick them out. They've certainly added stuff, powers and abilities, and again, they've really kind of concentrated on building up the Nemesis system. The last game, the graphics are, to my mind, perfectly serviceable. If they can achieve, maybe greater world or level or zone variety, that would be good. And if they can add a couple of other kind of, things to do in the world that are genuinely fun and not just, box ticking. Look, it'll take you 10 hours to do this and 10 hours to do all that. To add kind of, we want to stay away from the Ubisoft school of open world sandbox design if we can. We don't need meaningless busy work that is only mildly diverging around now, boring. We're going to get rid of that in its entirety. So yeah, I have to say, looks really good. It's coming out in August. I assume we'll find out more, particularly at E3. And yeah, pretty cool. And let me know what you think in the comments about the previous game and your hopes and fears for this one. Again, if you like this video, please like it. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. This is Defub21, quite impressed and looking forward to this. Signing off. Toodaloo.